Beloved members of a popular reality show have tragically died. Remember Pawn Stars? One of the most popular series that changed the plot and even changed the way you view reality TV? Have you ever wondered what happened to the actors who retired and never returned to the screen? You don't have to wonder anymore. Get ready to discover the mysteries surrounding the Pawn Stars cast that will take your breath away. Richard Old Man Harrison. Richard Harrison, known as Old Man, is one of the most beloved members of Pawn Stars. He has a stern face and a calm voice. Richard simply gives sound advice to make things work. In the early days, he worked hard to grow the family business and wanted the store to be strong and honest with its customers. Whether he was giving them advice or refusing, he genuinely wanted to help. In 2018, Richard died at the age of 77. The news was devastating for fans, but even after his death, the store continued operating and the show continued. But something was completely different. And today viewers started watching his old episodes again. Mark Hall. Patton. Mark Hall. Patton is a historian with a bushy white beard, red glasses, and a wise voice. Fans often call him Wisdom Beard. On Pawn Stars, whenever someone brings in an old document or antique with a long history, Rick immediately calls out Mark. Mark is more than just a guest on the show. He's a true museum expert. He runs museums in Las Vegas and knows more about history than most people around him. He makes old things meaningful. Mark isn't funny or conceited. Instead, he simply loved sharing information about these antiques. Whether it was a Civil War letter or a rare antique, he treated each one as if it had its own story. However, Mark's time on the show ended in a very unexpected way. In 2024, Mark Hall Patton died of a stroke. Many fans and collectors across the country shared their memories. After his death, the Las Vegas Museum honored him for his contributions. Fans still remember how he turned an old piece of paper into a history lesson. But every time someone pulls a dusty book off the shelf or finds a handwritten letter in a box, it's time to call Mark and find out more. Corey Harrison. Corey Harrison, also known as Big Hoss, brought a youthful energy to the store. He grew up in a pawn shop, watching its operations day after day. Most fans thought he was always arguing with his father, but he was actually a good man. He worked hard to secure major contracts and even pushed for new technologies to be incorporated into the program. In 2014, Corey was involved in a serious motorcycle accident. He suffered serious injuries, and his recovery was slow. That same year, he divorced and took up residence. He continued to work at the store, but the once cheerful and kind man had changed due to the grief. Olivia Black joined Pawn Stars in Season 5, captivating from the moment she appeared. With raven hair, a radiant smile, and a confident demeanor. She was ambitious and genuinely excited about the opportunity to be a part of Pawn Star. For her, it wasn't just a television role, but a chance to build a career in the pawn industry and test herself in a male-dominated environment. Fans immediately took a liking to her. She was likable, funny, and hardworking. She represented the next generation of the pawn shop world. Intelligent, courageous, and not afraid of risk. However, shortly after joining the show, news of her former modeling career surfaced. It was no secret that she had been involved in alternative modeling before joining the show, but it didn't fit the conservative image the producers wanted to maintain. Shortly after, Olivia's time on Pawn Stars shocked fans, especially since she had been doing so well and had brought a breath of fresh air to the team. Olivia expressed her disappointment, but she didn't let it stop her. Instead of disappearing from the public eye, she embraced her individuality. She continued her modeling career, pursued her own creative projects, and built a strong online fan base. Her story became one of perseverance, a reminder that sometimes being different means forging your own path, even if it doesn't quite meet someone else's expectations. Her time on Pawn Stars, though short, made an impression. She proved that authenticity matters, and that even in a world filled with antiques and artifacts, new stories can still be written. Olivia became a part of Pawn Stars, making history not only for her screen time, but also for what her story represents. Strength, individuality, and the courage to keep going when life takes an unexpected turn. And like every person who walks through the doors of the gold and silver pawn shop, Olivia left with something that reminds her that Pawn Stars isn't just a show about old things. It's a show about people, their dreams, their struggles, and the treasures they carry within. So, which Pawn Stars member is your favorite? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe. Click the next video on your screen to discover another untold chapter from the world of Pawn Stars. When people think of Pawn Stars, one name always brings a smile: Chumley. born Austin Lee Russell. Chumlee started working at the pawn shop long before it became a television phenomenon. He was a childhood friend of Corey Harrison and was a comic relief from the start. A cheerful, likable guy who made everyone laugh. What set Chumlee apart was his honesty. He never pretended to know it all. He asked questions, made funny remarks, and represented the audience, the average person, just as inquisitive as the viewers at home. His easygoing nature and quick wit perfectly balanced Rick's seriousness and Corey's competitive spirit. But fame often comes with its challenges. In 2016, Chumlee's world was turned upside down when he was arrested after police found illegal substances and a firearm in his home. The news shocked everyone. For a moment, it seemed as if his career and reputation were over. Fans who had grown up watching him felt disappointed and broken. Chumlee faced his mistakes. Instead of hiding, he decided to change. He began taking care of his health, exercising regularly, and completely overhauled his lifestyle. Over time, he lost over 90 pounds and became a model of determination and personal growth. His transformation wasn't just physical, it was also emotional and spiritual. He eventually returned to Pawn Stars, humble and stronger. His sense of humor remained the same, but there was a new maturity in his demeanor. Fans welcomed him warmly, seeing him not as a fool who made mistakes, but as someone who had learned from the past and grown from it. Outside of his performances, Chumlee opened his own candy store in Las Vegas, Chumlee's Candy on the Boulevard. It became a place where fans could meet him, take pictures, and share a few laughs. The store reflects his true nature, cheerful, friendly, and full of life. Chumlee's story is one of redemption. He fell, but he rose again. He made mistakes, but he took responsibility and used them to build a better future. Rebecca Romney is the rare book expert on the show, and for many fans, she became more than just a regular guest. She became a symbol of knowledge, curiosity, and calm intelligence amid the bustling chaos of Pawn Stars. Every time someone brought in an old Bible, a fragile first edition, or a mysterious old novel full of strange inscriptions, Rick's eyes lit up because it meant one thing: Rebecca had arrived. She walked into the shop with the poise, gentle smile, and confidence of someone who truly loves the stories hidden in ink and paper. She had that unique ability to make even the oldest, dustiest book come alive again. When Rebecca began explaining, it wasn't just about information. It was about storytelling. You could almost see the story unfolding in her words. For her, every book was a portal to another world, a preserved fragment of someone's soul, waiting to be rediscovered. Fans admired above all the way she made complex things seem accessible. She could transform centuries-old manuscripts into a compelling story about people, culture, and emotions. Her calm intelligence contrasted beautifully with the raw, humorous energy of a pawn shop. For a moment, the cameras, the haggling, and the jokes fell silent, and the audience was transported to the quiet world of old books, where stories never die. However, after a few seasons, her appearances became increasingly infrequent. Viewers began to ask, "Where is Rebecca?" She eventually decided to leave the show to focus on her career, working with rare books and pursuing her own literary projects. Pawn Stars was not long, but it was unforgettable. Rebecca showed viewers that knowledge has real value, not just in monetary terms, but also in how it shapes our understanding of the world. She made reading feel like a treasure hunt, where every page holds a story worth discovering. Even after her passing, her influence remained. She reminded everyone that the most precious things in life aren't always gold, silver, or jewels. Sometimes they're the fragile pages of a book, carrying human stories through the ages. And that's what made Rebecca Romney unforgettable. She didn't just treasure books, she made people care about them. Brett Mailey, also known as Brett Mailey, is a former Pawn Stars artist whose presence has always brought a sense of balance and calm to the exhibition. Brett works in an art gallery, surrounded by paintings, sculptures, and creative energy, but what sets him apart is not just his knowledge, but also his perspective. When someone walks into a shop with an old painting, most people immediately ask, "How much is it worth?" But when Brett looks at it, it's clear he sees something completely different. He sees the story, the emotion behind each brushstroke, the artist's intentions, the feelings the work is trying to express. This is what makes him unique. He doesn't see art as just a product, he sees it as a conversation between the creator and the viewer. Whenever Brett appeared on the show, he explained things in a way that made art accessible. He reminded everyone that art wasn't just for museums and millionaires, but for anyone willing to look closely. Whether it was a forgotten oil painting or a famous signature, Brett could see the beauty and meaning in both. However, as the seasons progressed, his appearances became less frequent. Fans noticed, His soft voice and calm demeanor became a soothing presence on a show often filled with jokes and fast-paced transactions. Many viewers wondered where he had gone and why he had stopped appearing. Some believed he wanted to focus more on his gallery work, helping real artists and collectors understand the emotional value behind works of art. Brett brought something special to Pawn Star, OU Reflections. He slowed down the pace, made people think, and reminded us that not all treasure is measured in money. His explanations were gentle, his observations profound, and his passion for art sincere. While his farewell wasn't dramatic, his absence was felt. For many fans, Brett Molly's episodes were the ones that inspired them, not because of the fare, but because of the way he saw the world. Ultimately, Brett Molly wasn't just an art expert. He was a teacher. He taught us how to stop, feel, and appreciate beauty in its purest form. When something old, rusty, and forgotten needs a revitalization, the Pawn Stars turned to just one man for help, Rick Dale. Affectionately known as the Restorer, Rick became one of the show's most admired experts, a craftsman who could make the impossible seem effortless. Rick owns a workshop called Rick's Restorations, reminiscent of a museum of American history. Gasoline pumps, jukeboxes, Coca-Cola machines, slot machines, anything that time has destroyed, Rick can restore. His hands bring life back to metal, wood, and paint. He's distinguished not only by his skill but also by his heart. He doesn't just repair objects, he restores memories. Whenever the pawn shop needed help, Rick would pull up his truck, carefully load an item, and promise to return it in like-new condition. And every time, he kept that promise. Watching him work was like watching an artist paint. Fans admired his patience, passion, and belief that every old thing deserves a second chance. Rick's wife and children often worked side by side with him, making Rick's Restorations a true family business. The workshop was not only a workplace, but also a home filled with laughter, teamwork, and craftsmanship. His love of his craft soon led to his own television series, American Restoration, which allowed viewers to further appreciate his talent and creativity. For years, fans followed his journey, transforming antiques into timeless treasures. But one day, Rick disappeared from television. His show ended, his appearances on Pawn Stars ceased, and fans wondered what had happened. Many missed the warmth and artistry he brought to every episode. Truth be told, Rick never stopped doing what he loved. He continued restoring vintage items in his Las Vegas workshop, quietly and joyfully, away from the spotlight. Without the cameras, he became the craftsman he always was, working for those who shared his appreciation for history and authenticity. Rick Dale's story is a reminder that restoration isn't just about the items we save, but also about the dedication and soul we put into saving them. He's taught millions that history is worth preserving, and that beauty can exist even in things that seem irreparably damaged. Steve Grad is an autograph expert known for his keen eye and unparalleled precision. He can tell if a signature is real or fake by paying attention to the smallest details, from the angle of the brushstroke to the pressure of the pen. On Pawn Stars, and he became a trusted figure, protecting the shop from costly frauds and educating viewers about the meaning behind autographs. His calm explanations and high professionalism made every scene with him more interesting. Over time, his appearances on the show became less and less frequent until he finally stopped appearing, reportedly due to behind-the-scenes disagreements. Fans immediately noticed his absence, realizing how much knowledge and honesty he brought to each episode. Even after leaving Pawn Stars, Steve continued working at Beckett Authentication Services, attending events and verifying signatures for collectors around the world. To this day, he remains a respected expert, proving that even a small signature can carry a powerful story. Rick Harrison is the face of Pawn Stars, the man who made history and humor come together in the most unexpected ways. He's the son of the legendary Richard Old Man Harrison and the proud father of Corey Harrison. 3 generations work under one roof at the Gold and Silver Pawn Shop in Las Vegas. And in the middle of it all stands Rick, the negotiator, a man with sharp instincts and a deep love of history. From the very first episode, Rick's personality has set the tone for the entire show. He's quick-witted, always ready with a witty retort, and unafraid to challenge anyone who walks in the door. Whether someone brings a Revolutionary War sword, a handwritten letter from the president, or a guitar autographed by Elvis Presley, Rick knows how to transform it into a story worth hearing. His knowledge, sense of humor, and skepticism make every transaction a tense and educational moment. For many fans, Rick became the glue that held everything together. He could manage the store, deal with difficult salespeople, and resolve family disputes while keeping the business running smoothly. But even for a man as composed as Rick, life can be difficult. after the death of his father, Richard Harrison. In 2018, Rick faced one of the most difficult moments of his life. Losing his father was more than just the loss of a parent. It was the loss of a mentor, a partner, and a friend. Soon after, the family faced further personal challenges. Rick's mother filed a lawsuit against him for loss of trust and loss of family assets. Suddenly, the Harrison family's cohesive image was under public scrutiny. It was a reminder that even behind television fame and business success, there are real emotions, regrets, and complicated relationships. But Rick was always resilient. He continued to manage the pawn shop, ensure the show's continuity, and remind everyone why Pawn Stars became such a global hit. His strength lies not only in his knowledge of antiques, but also in his ability to adapt, survive, and thrive. Rick turned his pain into motivation, proving that family legacy is not just about inheritance, but also about perseverance. Rick Harrison's story shows that success comes with sacrifice, and that the value of history lies not only in old items, but in the lessons we learn from them. Through laughter, loss, and hard work, Rick constantly reminds viewers that knowledge is power, and the past always has something to teach us.